In this video, I'm going to take a look at the Petri lens I'd rank at number 2 in a list of the best and most interesting Petri fast 50s. It's the 55 f1.8 automatic attached to this intriguing looking camera, the Petri 7, introduced in 1964. The camera, with its fully integrated light meter, has more than a passing resemblance to the Zeiss Icon Contour-X Bullseye, made in Germany from 1960, with its beautiful-looking lens, the Carl Zeiss Planar 50 f2. The Petri is also a beautiful lens in my opinion, with a mostly silver body and a lever for the aperture ring that slots into the camera, an unusual arrangement for Petri lenses. The lens works fine on digital cameras, but you do need a special adapter for the Petri breech-lock mount. And here it is on my Sony a7 IV, with a Petri hood attached. It's one of a large number of old manual focus 55mm lenses made by different manufacturers, including some excellent lenses. These lenses can really shine wide open and stop down a little, and the silver Petri is one of the best, producing gorgeous bokeh, as I hope to demonstrate in this video. But before that, I'd like to introduce you to another Petri 55 f1.8, the C.C Auto, with an M42 mount. It has a different body design, and it isn't nearly so well built as the silver version. It has a rubber focus ring rather than an all-metal ring, and a clickless aperture ring that on my copy is very, very loose. You constantly need to check its position where you want it positioned. The silver version, on the other hand, has a properly damped clickless aperture ring. I believe that both lenses have the same optical design, 6 elements in 4 groups, with 6 aperture blades. They both have a minimum focus distance of 0.6 meters. The M42 lens has a generally strong reputation online, especially for the quality of its wider open bokeh, and that reputation is well deserved in my opinion. In terms of its rendering wide open, and things like the bokeh bubbles, these Petris remind me of the Mare Optic Girlith's Oriston 50 f1.8, and that's high praise, as the Oriston is a really good old fast 50. Plus, they have the advantage of that extra 5mm, and that does make a difference to the depth of field and smoothness of the outer focus rendering, and helps to negate that rather long MFD. The lens also produces good results stop-down. It's especially good for black and white conversions. This one was taken with an MD filter. Petri themselves were very pleased with the results of their 55 f1.8 lenses. In one of their marketing adverts, they quote independent experts as saying their lens's resolution was nothing short of fantastic. It's worth looking out for the M42 version because it's quite easy and cheap to find one online, and it's easy to adapt to digital cameras. However, my pick is this silver version. It also produces gorgeous bokeh, but physically, as I've already mentioned, it's a much better built lens than the M42 mount lens, and that's why I'm choosing it for the number 2 spot in my ranking of Petri Fast 50s. It's quite a rare lens. I've only personally seen this specific version for sale attached to a Petri 7 camera, and this almost certainly accounts for why it's not so well known or lauded online. Ever since I've owned this lens, I've been bowled over by the quality of images produced, wide open. For a vintage lens, it's reasonably sharp wide open. It's not the sharpest f1.8 lens I've tried, but it's easily sharp enough. There's not a lot of purple fringing wide open in extreme light. This scene, for example, would be a riot of purple and or green fringing with some other lenses. The out of focus blur is, I think, lovely, soft and smooth. The lens produces wonderfully smooth blur from even busier backgrounds as you move from stop down to wide open. The transitions and bokeh bubbles are also smoothly rendered, with attractive shapes away from the center. Stop down to f5.6 or slower, these old fast 50s can suffer in comparison to modern lenses. They tend to lack contrast in daylight due to limited coatings, and they can be quite weak towards the edges of the frame. This Petri, on the other hand, is by no means a poor lens stop down. It may struggle a little to handle bright contrasts, but it's a perfectly decent performer, and it sharpens up when stopped down very nicely. It's sharp right across the frame, as you can see from this image. Indeed, one owner online thought his Petri 55 f1.8 was the best edge-to-edge old fast 50 he'd used. As a matter of interest, I took some comparison shots of the same scenes, using the silver lens and the M42 lens. This was an interesting exercise, as placing the images side by side, it highlighted a difference I'd not noticed using the lenses separately, and that is that the silver version on the right has a browner color tint, rather like a radioactive tint, although the lens isn't radioactive. The M42 version, in other words, has a cleaner and more accurate color rendering, which is a strong point in its favor, if that's important to you. Despite these color differences, I'm still going to rank the silver Petri as my number 2 Petri Fast 50. It's a beautiful lens, a beautiful bokeh, and the tint is something I personally like. It gives images a nice warm look, and you can adjust the tones afterwards if you want. In terms of the overall ranking of these Petri Fast 50s, the lens I've ranked at number 1, and it's a 50mm, not a 55mm lens, the top-ranked lens has a different kind of bokeh. It's busier, with more obvious lines around the bokeh bubbles. So in terms of rankings, it really depends on what kind of bokeh you prefer, and I'd say that if you prefer smoother bokeh and the 55mm focal lengths, the 55 f1.8 is an excellent old lens, whether in Petri breech-lock mount or M42 mount. I've listed my videos on the 3rd to 5th ranked Petri Fast 50s in the description and comments below. If you're interested in learning more about Petri, a Japanese company that sold a range of SLR cameras and Fast 50s between 1959 and the 1970s, as well as my criteria for selecting and ranking their Fast 50s, then I posted a separate introductory video on that, also linked below. Thank you for watching. Your feedback and comments are most welcome, and until the next time, all the best.